lot better that.
Fucking hell.
My name's Gareth Tuff, nickname is Easy Rider. My history, as far as bikes goes back until I was about 18. Started off on really pathetic sports bikes, all completely useless, but it got me used to being on the road. From then, I got myself a 404 hardtail chap, and that was it for me. I put in for my licence, ended up with a 550 Zephyr and a Yamaha XS 750, which everybody told me not to get because it would fall apart, and it didn't. It almost killed me a few times, but it didn't fall apart. Then, unfortunately, I ended up with an illness called MS. I had to give up the whole bikes. Started off with my eyes, couldn't see properly, but it didn't diminish the interest that I still have in bikes. Throughout all that history, there was Alfonso. We met in Video City. He was a manager there, and he knew I had an interest in music. We ended up starting a band together, and that sort of went on for a few years. We've done a few gigs, but in between all that, there was the bikes. I can't remember how or when it started, but he ended up getting a 125 Shadow, and from he got that bike, you could see he had a love of the road, and he just wanted to be it constantly. From the 125 Shadow, he decided that he wanted to move up. He got himself a 400 Bandit, which we both went to view. The girl said, right, you can drive it around the driveway that they had. So that was okay. He got onto the bike and he drove around the driveway, and then when he stopped, the bike fell over. You know, you drop it, you own it. So that was okay. He ended up with his 400 Bandit. It never ran right. It was held together with tape, cable ties. Can't remember how many times it broke down, but I think that's where part of it started for Alfonso, was keeping that bike alive. But now the bikes that he has don't really want to kill you as much as all the ones that he had before.
Tasman, and my first sort of recollection of the bike scene was from a very, very young child. My father was a biker and so was my mum, and I always remember him being out in the garden working away on his bikes, and I always remember the smell of WD-40. It was like my main thing growing up. It's something that brings me right back to my childhood again. My dad kind of came out of it, and it was my mum that really got into it then. And I remember whenever we were kids and my dad would run around cleaning the house, and my mum would come in and dump an engine on the kitchen table and start working away at it, and he used to go nuts. And I think I got that sort of personality from my mum, in the sense of just really enjoying getting stuck into something and just seeing the outcome of it and how well you've done whenever you have worked on it. This is my bike. I've had it for about 6 months now. Its name is Frankenstone, and it's an EN450. The gentleman who had it before me, who I bought it off, had it sitting in his garage for about 4 or 5 years. He was wanting to get working on it, and he just didn't get to in the end. So I took it off his hands. I decided to do a wee bit of work onto it to get it up and running again. I have chopped a bit off the back end, and I have replaced the seat, which just needs to be fitted on now. Should be able to go on. So it's going to slide onto this here bit here. Once I pop the wee bracket on, it's got a wee lip on it which will slide onto here. And then I can cable tie here and here onto this bracket, which will be good. And I finally got it running, and just called it Frankenstone because it almost rode through dead. A rat bike is a bike that's it comes over time. It's not something that you can just decide to have one day. You get yourself a wee bike or whatever, and you just let it go, and the only upkeep you do on it is the absolute essential upkeep. Aside from that, you make do and you bodge jobs, and you just keep it on the road for as little money as you physically can. I see the rats as a real sort of neutral ground where it's nothing about any sort of politics or anything. It's actually just a common interest, and that's what makes it such a good group, is that we all enjoy helping each other out. It's the conflictions and things in the clubs that I personally don't like, because I think that we all are there for the same reason. We all are there because we love motorbikes, and there shouldn't be any sort of issues with that, because it's a common interest. And that's where I think that the rats really is different in that way, because they bring that common interest together. And even people from clubs that generally don't get along, you see them helping each other, you see them get along with each other, and that's something to me that's quite humbling. We have a lot of different clubs in the rats anyway, so generally there hasn't been many issues. I think most of the people laugh at us, to be honest, because they think we're all mad, but we know that we love it and we just enjoy it, so we just do what we want to do. I actually done my bike lessons through a very reputable instructor, and he said to me, "Do you do motorbike runs?" And I said, "Oh yes, in my group we do them all the time." And he goes, "Would you be able to organise one for me?" I said, "Oh well, yes, okay, I'll go ahead and do that." And I by no means expected it to go the way that it went. I assumed it was going to be something like the runs that we do quite often, where maybe 8 or 9 of us go on a run, but I didn't realise he actually meant a full-fledged charity event. It's for a charity called Beyond the Battlefield, which gets absolutely no government funding whatsoever. Got down to organising it, and in the end it was 260 bikes turned up to the run. We raised £1,288.35. As soon as I got settled into the group and I met everybody and went to the first meets, and everybody was so nice, and honestly, genuinely the nicest people I ever met. And I've actually made some really, really good friends out of it. People would bend over backwards to help you. They would, and they're all like that for each other. They'll post up all the time and say, "Oh, I need this here," and there'll be 5 people jump on it and say, "Oh, I've got one. I'll bring it round to you whenever." From the group, I have never faced any sort of issues or problems regarding my sex. Obviously, there's the odd silly comments or whatever, but I just take that on the chin, because everybody has something that they get made fun of in the group. We all make fun of each other, only playfully though. In the biking world in general, I've had a few comments, usually, "Are you sure you're going to be able to keep up?" Or, "I think that bike's too heavy for you," is another comment I would get. But then once I leave them in my trail of smoke, it's fine.
Aaron, rap blogger.
Rap blogger, yeah.
Or wanker, whatever one you want to put.
Tom Casson, rat engineer. I break them and fix them. I fix a lot of people.
This is mine, Sergeant Minion. It's a Gin and Texan 125. Even considering that it's only a small wee thing, you know, couldn't realistically pull your granny out of bed. You know, it actually has done me proud. I don't actually give a shit really what anybody else thinks of it. Like, you know what I mean? It's my heap of shit. Like, that's just the way I like it.
It goes.
That's it. It just goes.
It starts when you need it.
It's just on the winter. Hates winter. Hates rain too. It hates the freaking rain. So it's my heap of shit, but I love it.
Pretty much the same as Aaron's, but a bit more rough. Modifications would be tail light, headlight, speedo, handlebars, choke, exhausts. Kind of toy on the names. Mutant, because it is slightly mutated.
I just caught the wrong turn.
There you go, wrong turn. So it's now from this day forward
the wrong turn.
So, yeah.
A true rat bike is years upon years of fixing absolute everything possible with nothing that fits, making
it work.
Making it work. If it does, if one hammer doesn't work, get a bigger hammer.
Yeah.
You know, if spanner doesn't work, cut it. Do whatever you want to it.
Weld, staple.
That's a true rat. Like.
Here. Good. Oh, fuck. Shit! What have you done? It'll be alright. What do you mean it'll be alright? Right, hold on, right, just give that a whack.
Why did you get into rat bikes then? I'm a bad influence.
Probably, aye.
I don't, because I'm cheap as fuck.
You're cheap as fuck.
I was ratting bikes well before I actually met Fonzie. And Fonzie posted on a page one day, and I commented under it. It was nice to see someone close to home into the same thing, and then that's when he messaged me about the NI Rats, and then I joined. I remember we went to the first run, which was the custom show last year. It was the NI Rats' first meet.
I think so the reason why I actually joined the NI Rats was really you sort of put me in that direction, sort of showed me a few different ideas and anything. Obviously, I wanted to modify the bike, just couldn't really come clear what I wanted.
And it was falling apart a bit.
A bit?
A bit.
It's a fucking rust bucket. Fuck's sake. I bought this bike, and then I had it about a week, and then it messed up on me. So I started searching on Gumtree for parts, and lo and behold, it was his ad that I found. So I came up, picked up parts with me, and we were talking away for ages. And he was saying to me about the NI Rat, so I had a look around, had a few ideas, and then sort of he joined me into the club, and I've been there since. That's probably about a year ago.
Not a club, you know.
Well, sorry, a group. Like the way with NRS now, like
it's just a group of friends. Really?
Everybody gets on with each other. You know, everybody enjoys similar things. Won't say the same because none of them are the bloody same. Like we're all different. So I think that's our. I'm sort of glad though that is one that keeps that way. I don't want to turn into a club like or any sort of MMC or brotherhood. Nah. It's sort of like going.
Trading parts about, swapping things about.
Sharing ideas really as well. Though it's
having a slagging match.
That too. Like it's like just pretty much having another social media, but just between people that enjoy this kind of style of bike, really. Yeah. So, rat book, sack it.
Yeah,
just call it rat book.
Aye.
today for the Belfast bike show. As you can see, there's loads of the rats. There's around 50 of us from into town.
Kelsians are running the custom show. It's huge with regards to the crowds that turn out. It's great to see so many different biker groups that come together.
Okay, I'm Phil. I've been riding bikes most of my life. The first bike I ever had, like when I had a job, was a wee TL125 Honda. I had it brought over from England a couple of months ago. And that was the first bike I bought with my own money from having a job and all that sort of thing. Once we started getting like 300 rats or whatever, it brought back the old days, and it was just fantastic.
I'm Lynn. I was born and brought up with bikes. So I was brought home from hospital in a sidecar. First bike I ever had was an NSU Quickly, which I wrote off. My dad then bought me a Lambretta. I wrote that off too. He then bought me a Vespa and I wrote that off too. Eventually managed to get money up and I bought a brand new bike, which half thinking now was not a good idea. It knocks your confidence on a brand new spanking bike. You daren't do half the things you'd like to do because you're terrified of it, marking it. So the rats for me is great because I really don't have to literally give a rat's ass what happens to it. So if it topples over, well, it's character. That's it. A rat bike, to me, is a bike that's maybe beyond the point of being put back to original, and hence needs a lot of work done to it. You maybe can't afford to do it, or you maybe just can't get the parts to do it. So everything is done as cheaply as possible, so there's virtually no expense to it.
I think also it's a poor man's custom, isn't it? It's a creative thing. I mean, you take something, as Lynn says, might never have been on the road otherwise, and just put whatever parts fit on it, or whatever parts you can make fit on it, ideally for nothing. It's all about your own creativity and what you can actually do with a bit of metal or a bit of plastic or a bit of skin, whatever the case may be.
But I'm thinking maybe like a belly pad, bend it round like a belly pad. I think we'll see next time we get together. You'll see what it ends up as.
This is Special Child. Called Special Child because I thought retard was maybe a bit unsociable. I might get a few comments, so I was polite about it. But that was literally in bits when I got it. That one there is Predator. That was a non-runner when I got it.
Predator sort of sat for a good 2 years in various states of assembly and disassembly. You'd wonder if would you call it a rat, but simply because the state it was in, the problems it had, is why it got ratted. And Leonard here, Leonard's a typical sort of rat. He was picked up as a £300 fixer-upper. Still a bit of work, it's only a fairly new one. My wee friend here, Fleabag, has been on a few bikes, and I want a few more actually. I want a few squirrels and whatever I can get my hands off, just to embellish it with. And maybe you could look at rats as more like hippies. Everybody's welcome. It's up to yourself what you want to do. It doesn't matter if your bike's a 125, it doesn't matter if it's a moped, it doesn't matter if it's 1300cc, 2000cc.
It also doesn't matter if you're in another club. You can't join another club if you're in an MC's club. But with the Rats being a group and just a bunch of people that are like-minded and enjoy the same thing, anybody can come in. For me personally, I find everybody that are in the Rats at the minute very, very helpful, very encouraging. I think we're all in the same crazy mindset as well.
Even when somebody gets a new bike, it's like someone's just had a baby, you know. We want to see what it's going to grow up and look like.
A rat bike is whatever you make it. Nobody, if somebody wants to come up and say to you that's not a rat, or somebody wants to come up and say, no, that's not how you do it, you just don't listen to them. In the Rats, at the very start, there was an awful lot of 125s. That, I think, caused a bit of hassle between some of the members, because they wanted it to be sort of people with bigger bikes and stuff. I personally think that's all a load of crap. As far as I'm concerned, a rat bike is just something that still goes. That's it. Basically all they are is something that's held together. And this will sound corny, and I hope it does, just to add that wee bit to it. But they're held together with love.
My name's Eugene McCann. I've had bikes all my life from I was 16. My father had bikes before me. Always wanted to fancy something different. And I built my first chap when I was maybe 18. Then I got married and had children, and that was the end of the bikes for a while. I couldn't afford them. And then when I hit 40, back to bikes again. And the kids loved them, the boys thought they were great. Some of their bikes are sitting outside there into them as well. The result of the two boys, I got into Trikes. The two boys were always arguing and fighting. You know, you took him away last weekend on a run. Why can't I go this weekend when I had the bike? So I says, right, I built a Trike. It was sort of built to last one summer, 13 years ago. And I love it to bits. It's my main thing of the ride now, you know. Especially since I took a major stroke. In fact, 5 strokes since then. So the result now, I'm riding the Trike. I'm riding the Trike more often now than the bikes, much more often. But I still love the bikes, I love working at them. It's a strange build of a Trike. A friend of mine called Dominic made the frame. I went on holidays and told him at the engine and gearbox and the back end sitting, I says, look, we're going to make us come back. When I come back, he says, yeah, they're going to love me, they're hating me. I've made it out of box section. Square box section where all the Trikes and bikes are made out of round tubing. And I went, why did you make it out of box section? Because I've got a load left over from that shed we built, off cuts. He says, well, seem to waste them. I thought, why not make it out of box section? Everything on that Trike we had laying about our houses and yards from scrap. The handbrake is a 45 pistol. The gear stick is an old Mills bomb from the Second World War. The brake and the clutch in that are 2 drilled out rubber bolts from the Troubles. I try to make it, everything I put on it has a use or a function. But kids like to get a photograph taken with, and the parents will always say, do you mind if I stand beside this? And I'd say, take your kids on it. Well, all the guys go, oh, don't touch my bike, I've just polished that, don't put your finger marks on it. I mean, first one I catch polishing that there is going to get done in. When I at Hunters Hill Road outside Guildford, my family home, this scrapyard here now, it used to be my father's builder's yard. And now it's turned into a scrapyard with my sons cutting up cars. This is where I built my first bikes, choppers and Trikes. Now the 2 workshops, one of them's the old Nissan hut from the Second World War, and my dad built the other one. We just come up, Mum likes to see us all about and work on the things. She doesn't like the junk right enough, but there's not much we can do about that. So we're not allowed beyond these swings. These swings are the border. Anything down below that and you're shouted at. I was out on a run one day with all the bikers and Trikers, and I met Fonzie. He came flying across the car park and hugging me and kissing me. Oh my God, I love your Trike. I need you on a run next week. So I went and met up with them, met the Rats, and really liked what they were doing. And always liked rat bikes anyway. Here's my next rat project.
Oh, that's the one that danced for.
I think everybody who was a real biker had a rat bike at some stage, whether they knew it or not. Everybody cobbled together what they could. We didn't always have money. I mean, to me, as I said earlier, a rat bike evolves, it grows. Other kids will just spray their bike with rattle cans, hang things off it that just have no function whatsoever. Well, to me, you can see the difference in a real rat, and that's what a cosmetic rat we'll call it.
Fucking hell.
My club has a hierarchy. In the club, it'll have a president, vice president, right down through. The rats don't have that. The rats is more about the bikes, where clubs are about the bikes and people, and maybe people foremost. First day you become a rat, it is. You're equal to everybody else. There is no hierarchy in the rats. There is no president. Albeit everybody looks to Fonzie, which I think sometimes she's a bit uncomfortable about. You have to have some sort of leader. Now, he'll kill me for saying that word leader, because he claims not to be a leader. But he's the driving force behind the rats, and everything needs a driving force. With a result, we don't have politics in the club then, with all the clubs. It says in our badge for a particular reason, because you don't give a rat's ass. That's what it means. I mean, we don't give a rat's ass about anybody's politics. Bike politics, Northern Ireland politics, anything. We don't give a shit about it. It's about the bikes.
I'm not likely to be able to show you, but at least you'll have a wee listen. Just for you. My name's Kieran Devlin. I've been biking for quite a number of years. I started off with the lovely shiny bikes and that everybody normally starts off with. It wasn't until I seen a bike online one day, the Stevie Mings Skirmisher, and as soon as I seen that I thought, wow, that's something else. Then I came across the NI Rats website. I already knew Fonzie prior to that from the charity ride-outs and stuff that most people do on Sundays. I bought a Yamaha TDM 850. It was bright red, shiny, needed a bit of work. It was an old bike, and decided then, I think I'm going to take a grinder to this. What came out of that was Donkey, which is my first rat.
My name's Carter McFerrin. I've only been riding for 7 months. First bike was Hoysong GT R 125. It was already street fought whenever I bought it, so it had the back all chopped off, and the can on it was basically a straight through. And I think with it being a straight through, that got Fonzie's attention, going through the estate every now and again. He basically followed me home. in order to get me to join the rats. Obviously not knowing, like, I was only on the bike for like a month. I think he got a surprise and never like found out I was only 17 about it. I grew up around bikes. I grew up on the back of my dad's bike. He grew up on the back of his dad's bike, and so on and so on. So it's in the bloodline to be on a bike. So can't put the bike away. That is my bike. It did come with fairings. It was the sport version of it. Got rid of the fairings. Got rid of the front headlight. Chopped it. Put a sissy bar on it. It was already black, but I just matted it out. Nothing worked 7 months ago. The guy I bought it off, he had played with it for so long, and only one indicator worked. The brake lights didn't work, so I had to just rewire everything. New tire, still the wheel in the front. I never really got a name for it, so I just ended up calling it nameless.
Well, mine is Donkey. It's a 1992 TDM 850. I was toying with various names, and the one that it possibly was going to be called was Tedium, because it's a TDM. And then the more I thought about it, the more I thought, it's my donkey, it's what gets me around, so hence Donkey was born. There's nothing like it on the road as it sits at the minute, and it'll continue to evolve until there's very little of the original bike left, probably. It'll get cut up and changed. And the club side of things, you've got MCCs, motorcycle clubs, that are the lesser grade of an MC, and if you're into that sort of thing, you're into it. I personally, I'm not into it, so I am a member of a motorcycle club, but not when I'm with the rats. You know, I'm there because of the love of the bikes. When Fonzie set up NI Rats, he deliberately went out of his way to make sure it wasn't classed as an MCC, it wasn't an MC. You know, it's group. In that group of people, there are club members from MCCs, from MCs as well, and nobody will turn around and say, oh, I'm one of these other groups. When we're out and we're on a ride out or we're doing something together, we're all NI Rats. There's no biker politics involved in it. Nobody cares who's a member of what club. It doesn't matter, because that's not what it's about. Fonzie's a heart of gold. I've never come across anyone quite like him. He's definitely a bike enthusiast through and through. Some of his ideas for how his bikes look, they're mad. What he can come up with, but it works. He did start the group. He's still here, and he's still here in strength, and he's the one that does all the organising. You know, he's the one that chases after people to get to their house to find where they live, and it's a wee bit creepy at times when you think about it, but the right man for the job to, if you want to call it lead the group, I would say yes, he's the one for it, but calling him a leader, he doesn't like it. You know, but he still gets it.
Now, whenever I was driving and I had the Zapper, we were always away up to Newcastle, up around Silent Valley. And I can distinctly remember one day whenever we were up there, he was talking about starting something for everyone, not just for himself, which I think ended up with what we have now, which is the Rats. There was an ethos, an idea behind it, which I knew that if he had started it, it would turn into something special. What it's grown into now, I think, is what Alfonso wanted it to be in the first place. You know, if somebody has a question in the Rats, we suggest this is the goal people to see and how to keep things together. And to me, that's one of the things that I love. If you have a question to ask, you just ask it. Everybody has to start somewhere, because you learn along the way how to fix those problems that you have. The politics that are inside the MCs and the MCCs, I don't know at all, because it's a world that I never wanted to be a part of. I'm not going to sit and criticise them, because that's their choice in life, so they can stick to that. But we made a choice. We made a choice to be in something that is completely different. Bike politics is for people that want to have it. We don't want to have that. And in a lot of clubs, it comes down to respect. Respect seems to be the main word that everybody uses, but respect is something that you give, it's something that's earned, and it's something that we do every day in life. And it's very simplified. If you have a bike and you want to join, then you can join. But you need to show that you're either rallying something or you're doing something to your bike. That's the only real rule about joining. And that's more because we want to have people that have the exact same interest. As long as they have the bike and they're doing something to it, that's all. We just want to be able to get on the bikes and go.
Work strong, time in the days don't seem so long. Work series now, book patrol. Hell's damnation for the young and old. A dance with the devil, not slapping John. Got a wolf's red keepers in the ordinary shoes. Rave on. Rave on to my dying day. Rave on till the devil takes me away. Rave on to the grave with a crazy feel. I'm 6 feet on straight like an air wheel. It's crazy feeling, I know it's got me. When you say I love you, it's a rave on me. I'm a brown-eyed handsome man. I'm a brown-eyed handsome man. I'm a brown-eyed handsome, brown-eyed handsome, brown-eyed handsome man. Heartbeat, why do you miss when my baby kisses me? 'Cause I'm a brown-eyed handsome man. Songs are all pervy and they're sick. If the girl's not dead 20 long years, then they just won't get their dick. They all got tasty sweethearts, so easy to break down. If she speaks out of turn, and she just don't think that bitch is going down. They say, case sometimes they should miss her. They keep the best bits in deep freeze. Defrost her bops in the microwave and do them as you please. They can buy biodegradable girlfriends. Biodegradable, biodegradable, biodegradable girlfriends. Biodegradable, biodegradable. Nevermore, she's dead. Songs are all pervy and they're sick. If the girl's not dead 20 long years, then they just won't get their dick. They all got tasty sweethearts, so easy to break down. If she speaks out of turn and she just don't think that bitch is going down the sink. Hey, sometimes they should miss her. They keep the best bits in deep freeze. Defrost her pussy in the microwave and do with it as they please. Take it biodegradable girlfriends. Biodegradable, biodegradable, biodegradable girlfriends. Biodegradable, 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 biodegradable.